G'day everybody, it's Dave from Wing Chun Mind Force. Finally a bus video in the bus. So as you would realise, we reached 1,000 subs on this channel, which I'm stoked about, and it's steadily ticking away. And it's good to know there's an audience enjoying my videos enough to subscribe and coming back. So I just want to tell you some of my thoughts on future videos. I'm going to make a series starting this next week about kicking in Wing Chun, because it's a subject that's really rarely covered. I don't know why, and I know some practitioners are quite averse to kicking, considering that it puts you off balance or it puts you in danger, and I don't agree with that assessment. I think especially in the dummy, there's multiple kicks going on, and also the term kick, it's a bit like the term block. We don't block in Wing Chun, we strike and we deflect whatever's in the way. And the same as a kick, there's kicks that look like what you think of as a kick, a taekwondo kick, a karate kick, a Karate Kid kick, whatever. There's obvious kicks, but as I've often said, in Wing Chun, the whole body's a weapon, and the whole arm and the whole leg is a striking surface. Same as your forehead, you know, that's a fighting surface, whatever, your teeth. So kicking, you could see kicks in lots of things, certainly in Chum Kyu, there's a number of kicks. In the Bill G form, those sweeping steps are obviously attacks. They're obviously ways to knock somebody flat, and I've done it. It's quite surprising how powerful they are. In the pole and the knife, there's long stepping movements, which I think nothing's ever just one thing in Wing Chun. It's a very, very practical art. So I think those moves could easily also be an attack. And as you would realise, the forms are not just some kind of robotic thing that we just have to fight exactly the way the shapes of the forms are. The forms are teaching us to stay in that Wing Chun state, that mind-body state, all the time, doesn't matter what we're doing. And many very senior practitioners have told me right through my Wing Chun career that you could use Wing Chun with karate, or you could use it with Thai boxing or UFC style, you know, groundwork and that sort of stuff. It all applies, which sort of brings me to another subject. I've talked at times about showing you ways to apply the Wing Chun effortless force and movement, turning the joints effortlessly to get out of holds and jiu-jitsu sort of things. And my main problem has been finding somebody to work with who knows jiu-jitsu or can wrestle. So I'm going to work on that to get somebody that I can practice with. I'll have to work up to it, because I'm not that stupid. I'm just going to jump in with a strong young bloke and let him pop my shoulders out, or, you know, crush me completely. But I do believe that the Wing Chun mind state will help heaps, and I've seen it done. The other subject is Bruce Lee. Now, strangely enough, I've sometimes copped disparagement of Bruce Lee from other Wing Chun practitioners who sort of look down on him as, oh, well, he didn't train for very long, he was a punk, he disrespected Sifu Yip and, you know, walked away from Wing Chun. I don't see it exactly like that. Like, I think there is definitely some element of that, of ego and young punkiness, but I've been studying Bruce Lee since the 70s. I was a passionate fan of his, read every book I could find, every magazine, watched his movies over and over and over. In the 90s, I bought all these books by John Little, which were, you know, rather than the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, which was sort of pretty much cobbled together. It still has some good aspects to it, but a series of books by John Little, which really publish all Bruce's letters, his notes, and put it into more of a sensible order. There is so much incredible wisdom and thinking and the good Wing Chun stuff going on in there, and I feel like no one's really ever done him justice, because people who know Wing Chun well haven't really talked a lot about Bruce. But I'm going to do it. I really still care about Bruce, and three of the very best practitioners I know, one is Sibak Mo lives in New Zealand, but he was one of Sigung's students, Sigung Chushong Tin's students, since like 1955. So he's the most senior guy that I know of in our lineage, and I consider him the top person in our lineage. And he told me that Bruce was still his hero. This is a man in his 70s and top Wing Chun boy, and he said Bruce was his hero, which I thought was really sweet and cool, and shows that he wasn't disrespecting Bruce. Sifu Jim said to me, my Sifu, back in the late 90s, we had a bit of a talk together, and he said, don't let anybody put Bruce Lee down. He was very good. Bruce knew a lot. And these other two practitioners, Aussies, very top of the game, both said to me they really liked Bruce, and essentially that Bruce was on the right track. So, which makes people think, what does that mean? But this might get me into trouble. But I think Wing Chun people, like all other groups into a particular thing, can get very stiff in their thinking, solidified, this is the way it is, this is the way it always will be. And some of that's good, like changing the forms. I'm not into that. Trying to keep strictly to the oldest forms that we can find, particularly what Chushong Tin demonstrated. However, that doesn't mean you fight like that. It doesn't mean you can't dance like Bruce Lee. That doesn't mean that you can't be alive and free and bounce around and whatever the hell you want, because if you got the right mind state, it works. Nima's talked a fair bit about being able to still strike, like in the air, jump in the air and hit, and if you have this right mind state, the other person still receives all the mass. And I agree with that. It's a mystery how that works, but you can pretty much do Wing Chun from absolutely any body position. Like, you can be hunched over. Once you understand how this works, really nothing can stop you. It's just the mind. The mind just needs to stay in that state. That's the main reason people fail, because they start to get it and then the mind freezes and go, oh, too hard, can't do it. But once you can really stay into there, it transforms your body movement. It's not just Wing Chun, it's just the power of your body becomes like a super powerful animal type of thing. Anyway, so that's just some of the things to look forward to. Please comment below particular things you'd like me to talk about. I've tried to cover a little bit about practical fighting in Wing Chun. I know I should do more with partners, and it seems a bit weak, but I live in a very isolated country place. My friends, the few friends I train with here, are all camera shy. I don't know what they're worried about, but I'll get somebody, okay? So, I wish you all the best. Have a terrific rest of the week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.